Hey guys, Mark here, and this is Big Balls Marketing. Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about something that is really probably one of the best business concepts that I was ever able to grasp, and that is to make a decision. Probably next to commitment, making a decision is probably the best thing that you can do as a leader. And basically I'm going to be talking about indecision, how it's a business killer, and it really is a business killer. And in this podcast, I'm going to go over 6 reasons why it's such a bad or it's something to get out of, and that you really need to start developing a habit as a leader to make decisions. And oftentimes, and I'm going to go over all of this, but a lot of times just, making a decision, and I'm not talking about being impulsive. I'm talking about making a decision, not just jumping at what seems great for the moment. Sometimes you're going to do things that are not popular. Sometimes you're going to do things that may hurt in the short term, but are going to be better in the long term for you. But as a leader, you really need to kind of develop this skill, develop this habit of making decisions. So, with that said, my number one reason for going ahead or why indecision is a bad deal is because no matter what decision you make, making a decision, even a good decision at the time that you think may be good or that you've come to, a lot of people that are indecisive take a long time to make a decision. And sometimes it's just better to make a decision rather than focusing on what's the best decision right now, or not the best decision right now, but the thing that you think is just a really great decision, because sometimes the best decision, a good decision, can end up being a bad one. Depends on how things change. And as we all know, things change a lot. No matter how well we think we are, no matter how well prepared we think we are, sometimes that preparedness doesn't really account for much as things flow. Life is dynamic, and your business life is dynamic as well. What you're focusing on today, tomorrow or next week, may not be the area of focus for the company. It may, those things can change, and they can change overnight. So the only thing that you can do is make the best decision for today. So, that's one of the main reasons. Another reason, number 2 on my list, is making a decision will take the load of the world off your back. There's a lot of times where, people come to you and they just don't know what to do. And you've got, they're looking to you for leadership. They're looking to you to make some sort of a decision. And no matter how stressful that time is, once you make that decision and you start taking action and moving towards that goal, achieving those goals or achieving those standards or whatever it may be, that weight is going to come off of you to a great extent. Because now you have a direction that you need to move into. You can direct people, you can delegate things, and you're all moving on the same sheet of music. So making a decision is always going to be a positive. Even a bad decision is still going to be a positive in the long run. So that's just the deal. Making any decision isn't a final deal. And this is number 3. And it kind of coincides with both 1 and 2. It's like I said, things are very dynamic in business. And things are very dynamic on just about every job that you do, no matter what it is. People are looking to you as a leader. They're always looking to you for advice. They want direction. And many people that aren't in a leadership role, a lot of those people don't ever want to be in a leadership role. They don't want to be making those decisions, and if they feel that way, they obviously don't need to be in that role. But since you are, or if you are thinking about jumping into that role, you need to be a decision maker. And it's like I said, making a decision isn't final and it's not fatal most of the time, but it does allow you to move forward. And if your initial ideas aren't getting any traction, then you can change that in midstream. I mean, you can change the direction of how things are headed, and where you need to put manpower, where you need to put folks in there to for whatever reason, however you're using your employees or your other team members that are looking for your direction. You can always change their direction in order to proceed to an evolving type goal. And sometimes those goals aren't clear cut. We have an initial idea of what we want to do and how we want to do it, and we start heading in that way. But as we proceed down that course, we see that there may be some better options. And so we take those into account as we go. It's kind of, you're kind of making a decision on the fly. But all you can do is all you can do with the information that you have. So, it's just best to make that decision immediately. Number 4 on my list is a big one in my opinion. And it's going to be that you're going to be seen by your subordinates, other team members, other people around you, even other leaders, as a decisive leader. And you're going to get respect for that. I'm telling you right now. People know that they can come to you with a problem, and you're going to, find a solution. And you're going to do it relatively quickly. This whole idea where you need all this time and all this research and all this, thinking space to be able to make your decision is not going to be seen in a positive light, I assure you. You need to be decisive. And, when I was in the military, that's one of the things that in almost every leadership school that we ever took, that we were ever involved with, being a decisive leader was always better than being an indecisive one. And, and granted, we're not talking about battlefield decisions here. When you're out there in some sort of heated exchange, you need to make quick decisions, and you need to make pretty good, solid decisions. But most importantly, you need to be seen by your people as someone that can make a decision, and even the hard decisions, you need to be able to make those decisions. And once again, the military is a good example. There's some cases where you're going to have to send people in harm's way a lot of times. And it's not something that you really relish. It's not something that you want to do, but you know that there's a job that has to get done, and you as the leader have to make that decision. And so you make the decision. And believe it or not, people will typically follow, almost every single time, will follow a leader that can make those hard decisions. They may not want to engage in the action or whatever it may be, but everybody knows that this is just what you got to do. This is the job, and so but you do need to be seen as someone that is very decisive. Number 5 on my list is that indecision breeds more indecision. If you get locked down with the inability to make some sort of concrete decision, the only thing that's going to lead to is more indecisiveness. And the only thing that you can really do, and I kind of touched on this earlier, is collect all the available data that you have at the moment. And at the moment of the decision. You cannot be thinking about what may happen or what might change. You can look at that in more of a strategy type process, as far as what may change in a given situation. But you need to take whatever data you have available to you in that moment and make your decision from there. That's just life. And, it's like I said earlier, things are always changing. Life is very dynamic. There's very seldom any situation where it's just a static environment and you have all the time in the world to make a decision. You need to make the decision. There was a Rush song that I was used to listen to, and it's called Choices, and Rush is a Canadian band that I was very I still am a big fan of, and they were in their lyrics lyrically they were heads above the rest, but in one of their lyrics in Choices, it's if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, and that's absolutely true. If you're being indecisive in that moment, you're still making a choice. You're making a choice not to make a decision. And so always make a decision based on what data you have available to you, and make it immediately. Number 6 on my list is basically that a bad decision is better than no decision at all. Once again, we're leading people. We're leading teams. We're leading groups. We're leading men and women. And most of the time, at least from the work from home field, these men and women are looking to you for advice. They're looking to you for help. They're looking to you for leadership. They're looking to you for a decision that can possibly profoundly affect their lives. And so, even though it is going to be a situation, or it can be a situation where you can impact the lives of others so significantly, you still need to make that decision. And even if it is a bad decision, it's better than none at all. Like I said earlier, you can always change the direction that you're headed in. You can go out there and you can test things. And this is one of the reasons why we do so much testing online. We want to know what things work better than others. And a lot of times we may have this idea that, hey, I've created this course, and I've created this, and these things are going to be awesome. And you get out there, and guess what? They're not so awesome. For whatever reason, you may have had the greatest intentions of the world. You may have put in all this effort. You may have done things the way that you think that they needed to be done, and you think that that's going to be the best thing for the group at that time. And what you find out is it isn't necessarily so. And so you change those things. You change the you do a little fine tuning here and there. And very seldom have I ever made a solid decision at the time that did not have to be tweaked a little bit. I mean, that's just part of it. And you need to get away from this old idea of being afraid to fail, because failure is a part of the process of success. Once again, there's very seldom a time where somebody makes a decision and it works out 100% of the time. That is so rare that you might as well not even taking it into accountability or taking it into account, because it's just very seldom where you don't have to tweak things here and there. And, we often talk about analysis paralysis, and I think this is a perfect, time to talk about that whenever you're talking about making decisions, because so many people that are indecisive, the reason that they're indecisive is because they're trying to analyze the situation to 100%. Sometimes you don't have all the time in the world to make a decision. Sometimes you don't have all the information to make the best decision. But making a decision, whether it's a bad one or a good one, is so much better than making no decision at all. Like I said, you can always change that up. So, to kind of sum it all up, be decisive. Doesn't mean that you don't need to be flexible. You do need to be flexible, but you need to be flexible to a point. As a leader, you're going to have to make the ultimate decision, and it's going to be that decision that you make that people need to follow. And so you need to be very confident in your decision-making abilities. Once again, indecisiveness breeds indecisiveness, and it also breeds a lack of confidence, not only in yourself, but in those people that are trying to follow you and trying to do, trying to make the things happen to achieve that goal for your business opportunity or whatever it may be. So even though that it being decisive doesn't necessarily mean you don't need to be flexible, it does mean that you're going to be somebody that can get things started and get them going right away, and you're going to be seen as a strong business leader. You're going to be seen as a strong decision maker, and in the end, you're going to be seen as someone that can get the job done. So, guys, with that said, take care. Have a great day. Hope you learned something from this. Make sure that you check out our blog at elitemarketingsystems.org. This is where I post a lot of these podcasts, and I also post different articles. And you can also check out our YouTube channel. I believe it is youtube.com/elite marketing system. Guys, take care. Have a great day. And I will see you at the top.